Things are starting to get very exciting for the next Nintendo Direct. Today we got tons of more leaks and a bunch of more rumors and just speculation in general about this next Nintendo Direct. So yesterday we talked about how there were some sources out there saying June 4th is going to be the Nintendo Direct, which I don't think is true. I just don't see it happening June 4th. However, I do see it happening this month and very, very soon. Specifically, I'm thinking mid-June, maybe just a little bit before like the midway point of June. Get ready because this next Direct, it should be a big one. It's a general Direct. We haven't had one in, what, 9 months or so? And this current list of games that we know about is going to become outdated. So we obviously need a new slate of games to look forward to. We need some more things to look forward to after the summertime, and that's exactly why I think this next Direct is happening very, very soon. Right now is by far the best time to have a Direct. So right before we hop into it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, help us our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Let's see if we can hit our goal of 10 subs during this video. All right, let's get right to it. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to talk about today is how the Nintendo Direct archive website has actually been updated, apparently for unknown reasons at the moment. Now, like I said earlier, we have a lot to talk about. There are multiple different sources in today's video, pretty much all having some sort of unique hint slash rumor slash leak about this next Direct. Specifically the date, by the way, like nothing leaked as far as what's going to be announced. Well, kind of actually, that's not entirely true. In the past, there have been Directs that have followed this type of situation where they update the archive and then there is a Direct for the next couple days or weeks, but there also have been times where they do update it and then nothing happens. In my opinion, I don't know if this is going to be directly hinting or referencing a new Direct happening, but I do think regardless if this specific archive update is about this new Direct or not, I think there's still going to be a Direct this month. And something very, very interesting is that Nate the Hate actually has recorded a brand new episode that's going to be available tomorrow morning. And a lot of people are saying that this could be when Nate actually reveals the date of this new Direct. So this is happening Wednesday, obviously, which is the 3rd, and that is before the 4th. I'm not saying that there is going to be a Direct on the 4th. I'm just saying that, hey, his podcast is coming out before the 4th. So if he is going to say the 4th, that could work out very well. But like I said earlier, I just don't see it happening on the 4th. And obviously, if you don't know Nate the Hate, he's a very reputable source. He's gotten many things very accurate in the past, so he's definitely a trustworthy person when it comes to all things, I guess, Nintendo. Attack the Backlog is also responding to a post saying, yeah, as I said, I've been told the 4th was not it a couple days back. The date I heard lands next week. Let's see. Which makes sense. That's what most people are really saying, besides some of those Japanese sources that were saying the 4th, which I just don't know why. Like, it just quite simply doesn't make sense because we're having so many new things like the Summer Games Fest, the Xbox announcements and stuff. So it doesn't make sense, you know, for Nintendo to announce their huge announcements before everything. If you guys know Nintendo at all, you know that they would prefer to stay away from everything beforehand and then just announce their huge future games afterwards, right? Now we have Nash Weedle coming out to say something else, which he posted this, of course, which is a leaf on the flag, right? Which he posted a calendar and a red dot emoji saying, I've already told you the date of the Nintendo Direct. So, and what most people have come to the conclusion of is that this is referencing the release date of Animal Crossing New Leaf, which was released on June 9th. Now, if you look at the calendar, honestly, June 9th makes sense because it's a Tuesday, right? Nintendo Directs seemingly are always on a Tuesday or a Thursday for some reason, so June 9th is a very viable and reasonable day for a Nintendo Direct, especially since we had some people saying, you know, it's a week after the 4th or, you know, the following week, whatever. We have Mike Odyssey basically saying that Nate the Hate is the most accurate source that we do have with this June Direct, saying that time will fly, your wallets will cry, and Nintendo will surprise you very soon. We also have Beef One saying that they know the date and the time of this next Nintendo Direct and they aren't allowed to say anything because they promised apparently, but see you next week to experience a magical moment filled with surprises. Ocarina of Time remake coming our way, question mark. Obviously that's the biggest game that we have, I guess, leaked and rumored, and I think it's gonna happen. I'm very, very hyped for that, but see you next week. We have another source saying next week, which is fantastic news. I feel like all of our sources here are very, very correct. And just looking at the calendar again, I mean, even if it isn't the 9th, the 11th would make sense. Could even be the 16th or the 18th. I don't think it's happening later than that. It could, it always could, of course, but I just don't see it happening any later than that. This Direct is huge, man. People are talking about it, going crazy about it, because we haven't had a Direct in so long, and like I said a million times in the videos before this is the current slate of games that we have. We already know about them. Nothing against these games, but we need to have games to look forward to. That's why I think they're going to announce just more than this Ocarina of Time remake. Because, you know, sometimes Nintendo, they do surprise us. Maybe the Ocarina of Time remake is going to be the only game that they do announce. Like, maybe that's literally going to be the only game that we have to look forward to, but I don't see that happening. I could see them obviously announcing some other stuff, maybe some third-party stuff, because it's not just going to be only first-party games in this trailer, in this big Nintendo Direct and stuff. There will be, you know, third-party games and, you know, mobile apps that they're going to release or whatever the heck it may be. Some small updates, DLC for other games. Hopefully the Mario Kart World DLC. That's a big theory of mine that I think that DLC is coming out here. But moving on to like those leaked games that we do actually know of, like just throughout this year and a little bit of next year actually, I mean, we could be getting some big announcements like Mario Kart World DLC, maybe 3D Mario announcement. Zelda is probably like 99.9% actually gonna happen, but maybe they could announce something with Metroid. WarioWare is a big one that we've had recently as well. I think we're also gonna get trailers for the games that haven't, you know, released yet. You know, like Fire Emblem is probably gonna get another trailer and probably get a release date. My crazy out of the box insane theory is that Winds and Waves, the Pokemon Generation 10 game, will get a trailer. That's just my insane theory. We don't have any leaks to back that up besides the fact that every now and then they do put a Pokemon trailer in a Nintendo Direct as they did with Legend ZA. That's my hopium, I guess I'll say. It just seems like Nintendo have been doing things very differently this year. Like, this is a very odd and just different time for them to be announcing things. They just haven't been like this in a while. So I feel like we're in for a good one. I feel like we're in for a lot of information. I really hope we get more games announced up until like 2027 because I want more to look forward to. I want games that don't even get release dates yet. And basically what I mean by that is like, I want a game that doesn't come out for another like year, because I'm pretty sure Tomodachi Life, I swear, was announced about a year prior to its release, like roughly a year or so. And that's the type of game that is awesome because it's a big game. It's definitely a game that you will put a lot of hours into. That's my exact thoughts with the Mario 3D game that they should be maybe announcing during this next presents, is that that's a huge game. That's a big enough game to announce way ahead of time. I mean, first of all, look at Pokemon Winds and Waves. Like, that game isn't coming out until 2027. Like, that's absolutely insane because that announcement date is like a whole year and a half before the game even comes out fully. So it is possible we could be seeing some games announced in this Direct that won't even come out until mid 2027, maybe even late 2027. Switch 2 has been great. I've been really enjoying it, but I kind of do want, you know, to upgrade my collection a little bit. I want to get some new games. I want to play a new Mario game or something like that. I'm stoked for Ocarina of Time remake though. And because, you know, their plans have leaked, I feel like they have got to be churning out something very unique. Like, they have got to be coming up with some new creative ideas, thinking outside of the box, so that way that these leaks aren't as crucial for the company, because obviously Nintendo, you know, they do not want leaks. They don't like leaks at all. So that's why I feel like, yeah, these games on this list right here are probably accurate. These are probably all gonna happen, in my opinion, or maybe a couple won't happen. Maybe a couple could be scrapped, but I feel like they're gonna do this plus more, or maybe like just change it up a little bit. Like, I don't know, maybe the Mario Kart World DLC is real, but they're gonna completely change it. I mean, as long as we don't know what the storyline is, or like specifically the things in these leaked games, I'm fine with that. 3D Mario, like, obviously it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. Whenever they do announce it, I'm still gonna be extremely hyped. Same with, I guess, Luigi's Mansion 4, or another Metroid game, I guess like a classic Metroid game, or Mario Kart World DLC. Like, sure, those things are probably going to always inevitably happen. So even if these leaks are real and they still announce it in this next Nintendo Direct, I personally am going to be very hyped still. It won't really affect my level of excitement all that much. I mean, obviously, if you're going in it completely blind and getting these announcements for the first time, it is pretty hype. Like, that is a pretty special feeling, but I'm just still going in it with excitement, wonder, and confusion almost, because like, what have they been doing recently? But I want to know your thoughts, guys. When do you think this Direct is happening? I personally could see it happening next week or the week to follow that. What do you think is going to be announced? We should be getting some pretty good games. Anyways, this is a great time to end the video because there is a insanely loud lawnmower right outside my window. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hype up the video if you don't mind. Peace.